Hey y'all, so I'm gonna be making chicken with some pasta and a cream sauce, all homemade from scratch. So I'm gonna start off with my chicken first. I'm just gonna wash it, I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm going to put it in the pan. So this is my like garlic chicken, and I think I have a leftover onion. So normally I don't put that in my chicken, but I'm gonna do it because I don't want the onion to go bad. And that's basically why I'm making this stuff. Is I have some stuff like my milk is gonna go bad if I don't use it, so I decided to turn that into a cream sauce. So let's get to it. So before I do the chicken, I'm actually going to cut up my garlic because I'm going to use this same cutting board. And if you're using the same cutting board, you want to do your veggies first before you put raw chicken on it. Later, but I'm using a fresh pasta. A fresh pasta. But it's not the dry one. It's the one that you get out of the refrigerated section at your grocery store. So another thing about cutting up garlic, I mean, you guys will just see how I do it. Everyone has their own way, but I cut my garlic, but I don't want it minced. I want them in big chunks. They're less likely to burn that way, and I feel like it's just got a lot of flavor. So there it is. There's my garlic. Let me get my onion. So since I already cut it in half, I can peel off the little outside layer. So the onion I do cut smaller because it's got a ton of moisture. So the onion, it has water in it or some sort of liquid. So when it starts to get hot, it'll start to kind of release the water that's in there. So that's why you can cut it up smaller. Garlic has less of that, and so it's easier to burn when it starts to get hot. So there it is, there's my onion. And I do like my stuff with a little spice, so I have a pepper here that you can see it's already starting to, I don't know, look a little wilted, but I'm still gonna use it. It's a pepper, right? So it's fine. All right, so I'm gonna use this pepper. So my pan's getting hot right now. I'm just gonna, here's my coconut oil. This is what I cook with. When you smell it, it smells like coconut. And so I think it's because it's the unrefined, so I don't think it's been processed or anything. I've noticed that I've bought coconut oil before and it doesn't smell like anything, but this actually smells like coconut, so I feel I trust it more. I don't know. Here it is. I just went with my knife and put some in there. Let's see how it looks in the pan though. Pan to be covered in oil. So not excessively, but just the whole flat part of the pan. I want it to be oiled up because I don't want my chicken to get stuck on the bottom. I'm trying to cut it so you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. Right? So I have everything I need. Here's my pan. You can see I've already burnt shit in it before, but hey, this is a judgment-free zone, right? Or if you judge me, I don't care. So I'm just spreading the oil. And one of my tests is to basically throw a little bit of water in there and see if it sizzles up. So let's see. Yeah, it's not popping like I need it to pop, so it's not hot enough yet. So while I'm waiting for my pan to get hot, while I'm waiting for my pan to get hot, I'm just gonna do a little bit of cleanup, you know. So here's a bag from some veggies that I bought yesterday that I cooked up. Instead of just tossing the bag in the trash, I'm using it as like just a little trash bag. So that's one of the things that I meant by being sustainable, just finding things that you would normally just throw out or get rid of and repurposing them. I'm going to be adding this into the pan. Okay, there we go. So onion, peppers, and garlic. Smells so good. Okay, so I'm gonna wash my chicken now. I'm gonna wash my chicken now and cut it up to be added to my mixture. To add my chicken. Here is the chicken that I cut up, and I'm going to put this into the pan. Okay, so I need to season my chicken. Of course, I'm going to put seasoning on it, so let me line them up. I'm going to put a tiny bit of seasoned salt, a ton of black pepper, paprika, a little bit of thyme, and maybe a little bit of that Italian seasoning, since I'm making an Italian dish right now. You can see how much pepper. I literally covered the chicken in pepper. I wanted y'all to see that before I start putting the paprika and stuff. It's a lot darker. I have all my spices on the chicken, and so what I'm going to do now is, see how part of it is starting to get kind of white? I'm going to flip the chicken over and season the other side of them, and then I'm going to cover it because it has its own kind of steam that it creates to cook the chicken. So now my other side, I put a little tiny bit of salt. I don't cook with a lot of salt. And then I put some paprika and black pepper, I should say. And I didn't add the herbs, the Italian or the thyme, because I kind of went overboard on the other side. So now I'm actually going to cover this. Here it is, I covered it up. I could not find the top that goes to that, so whatever, my top's a little too big, but we're gonna make it work, okay? The uncovered chicken, you can see it's white, but it still needs to do a little bit more cooking. But I don't know if you can tell, see there's liquid down here, and so that came from basically the chicken and the onion. So I'm letting it, and that's how it cooks when you have it covered. It kind of steams it in its own juices per se. So I'm still gonna let that cook a little bit, and a good check is to kind of, yeah, it looks like it's almost done. So what I like to do is turn up the heat to kind of burn off this excess water. Let's see. No, you know what? I can see in that right in there. So I'm gonna cover it back for just a little bit more. Okay. I'm actually going to cut up the garlic smaller because since it's going into the sauce, it needs to be smaller. And it's going in raw, so it's going in raw. So we need it to cook into the sauce, if that makes sense. One cup of milk. 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. Basic, right? Basic, basic, easy to remember. So I turned so that liquid that was in there before kind of evaporated. So the chicken is done. I would say it cooked for, I'm about to taste a small little piece. I would say it cooked for maybe about 15 minutes, about 15 minutes to cook the chicken. Here is my 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. Mix it around a little bit. Yum. One cup of milk. Okay, so now that my chicken is cooked, my milk is cooking down for the sauce, I'm gonna start cleaning up a little bit. That's what I like to do. My kitchen is extremely tiny, and so is my sink. So if I don't clean up as stuff is cooking, it's just gonna pile up and I'm not gonna wanna do it, basically, So I turned up the heat a little bit and actually started to use the whisk. That'll help your sauce to thicken up quicker. My sauce has thickened up, so now it's time to add my seasoning, black pepper, and then I'll add in my dried parsley flakes. Fresh parsley is better, but I didn't have any, so the dry stuff will do. The only amount of Parmesan that I have, barely any. I'm gonna put all this in here, and then I'm gonna cut up, I have some mozzarella, thank goodness, but I'm gonna put that in there and see how it works out. Here's the mozzarella. I cut up just a couple of pieces of the mozzarella, and the great thing about it, or mozzarella has salt in it, it has a taste, if you taste it, it's a little salty. So you can always use other ingredients to make your stuff more salty instead of actually directly adding salt. So I'm gonna put this into the sauce. And you can see now that I've added the cheese, I added some Parmesan in there too. It's pretty thick. I'm gonna put a little bit more milk in there, just a little tiny bit, because I don't want it that thick. So see how it thickened up? And I know it doesn't look that desirable, but I put the spices. So normally, you know, they'll put the sauce will be white and then you add your own pepper, but I like to have the pepper in there beforehand. Okay, so we were almost ready to cook the pasta, but I need something green, so I'm going to add some spinach and broccoli, and I'm just going to steam it in a pot. So let me show you. And my broccoli, so I would say you can barely see the water in there, but I would say I added maybe about a tablespoon or 2. You don't need much water, especially when you're covering it. So I'm just gonna steam these very quickly. See how bright green the broccoli is? That's perfect. Now I'm going to put in my spinach. Fill the pot basically with spinach. I'm gonna recover it, and I turned the heat actually off, so it'll cook while it's in there. Spinach cooks really quickly, and you don't want the heat too high because I don't want to overcook my greens. Like, overcooked greens is not good. You're taking away all the nutrients. You want them just still a little bit crunchy, a little bit crisp. So let's let that sit for a few minutes. Boil the water. So I filled my pot about halfway. And the thing about these noodles is that they cook extremely quick because they're fresh. So I'm just gonna pour in a little bit of olive oil. It's pretty good. And wait for this to boil, and if you want, you can always put a top on it and it'll boil a lot quicker. The noodles, my water's still getting hot to boil, but you can see it says made fresh. I mean, as fresh as it's gonna get, but I think these cook in 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. So let's see the ingredients. I wonder if these are healthier. I feel like these are healthier than the dry ones, but who knows. Wheat, eggs, water, and salt. Okay, so I don't know if they're healthier than the other ones, but they definitely taste a lot better, and you have to keep them refrigerated or frozen. So I'm at a rolling boil. There's my chicken in the back. Yum. I'm gonna dump my pasta in, set my timer for 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna mix it all together. Pasta. Normally I like to take a little bite of it. I like my pasta al dente. Let me try a little piece of it with a fork. And then I'm actually going to add my sauce to here. So I put the sauce in and mixed it around a little bit, and I can tell my noodles are the perfect consistency because they're not falling apart, breaking apart, so they're al dente despite me manipulating them and mixing them. So I'm actually going to take it out, put the noodles on the plate, and then I'll add in everything else because I like to keep it separate just in case. Sometimes I'll put the chicken in something else if I need to snack on it, and then same with same with the greens. Yeah, so let's see how this looks. Here is the finished product. I've got my fettuccine with my homemade garlic cream sauce. Got my chicken and my greens, which is just spinach and broccoli. Thank you so much for watching. I'm here to basically just share my healthy lifestyle. It's 2019. I'm trying to just be more healthy, and I find that when you eat fresh and eat things that are homemade instead of going out spending, wasting all this money, you're healthier. Love yourself, love your body, love the earth, and thanks for watching.